visiting the Angels. What a great series this was. They split the series. Trout does Trout things. Greinke, your guy. Jim looks phenomenal in game 2. And the Astros are just hitting the crap out of the ball, basically. But these two teams, and we talked about the Oakland A's and the Astros being at the top of the division, sure seems like it's going to be a race between the Angels and the Astros right now in the West. And then to finish it off, the White Sox go into Seattle and they take 2 out of 3. Rodon looks good in game 1. Abreu hits a grand slam. Unfortunately for a couple players, Tim Anderson gets put on the IL with a little hamstring tightness, and then James Paxton looking like he's going to have Tommy John. That is not what we want to hear. It's not what Seattle fans want to hear. But that is what is going on in the AL.
Man, the James Paxton news sucks. Tim Anderson, hamstring tightness. Hopefully he can make it back and play enough where it feels like a full season. Anyway, Angels, I like that. I like what the Angels are doing it. They're doing it. They're fun.
They're
proving
exciting. A lot of people wrong. They're
Yep.
shutting a lot of people up.
And they're like making headlines along the way. Every game's been kind of like crazy. Yeah, some of that Blue Jays pitching is starting to show its head already. Roark, not good.
Hey, Matt's had a nice outing.
Yep, Stripling, 2 bad outings. Ryu,
They need more than that.
Ryu, Mats, Zoik had a nice outing. I think he pitches again soon. But Roark, I mean, his curveball looks like a bad wiffle ball curveball. It looks like the first time I figured out how to throw a curveball, but I didn't know how to place it, or I didn't know how to make it sharp. It just kind of like floated a curveball into the zone.
You kind of look like Tanner Roark, too.
Yeah. Well, we have a beard and have chubbiness.
Thick is what the kids say, Jim. Thick. Yeah, Blue Jays. That, I don't know. Rangers take 2 out of 3 from you. That's a series you want. That's a series you were writing in pen. We got that. But Gibby's built different. Excited for you to see him, Trev.
It's built different. They go into Yankee Stadium and take 2 out of 3. Then they go down to Arlington and get a 2-3 series loss.
Series split. Yanks tough for winning a series. The emotions were in a bad place. Tyone makes his debut. He looked pretty solid. That was exciting. And, you know, he's got to be a big piece of this season. Cole and Monty were both grosso. But, yeah, I mean, the looming news there is Judge. I think we'll find out in the next two hours.
Yeah, what are they doing with that?
That Aaron Boone is speaking to the media at 1:15.
1:15. Well,
Can I give you my take on it?
need it.
Sore side. That's what they're calling it, right?
Yes.
To me, you know, I've done the oblique. I've done there's another little muscle, like tendon in between your ribs, and I can't remember what it's called for the life of me. Sounds to me like he felt some tightness, or was feeling tightness in the oblique area. It hasn't fully grabbed on him yet. So when you feel that, you're like, dude, I think I can play through it, you know, whatever. Judge obviously hears everybody in New York saying he needs to play a full season. You know, we need you on the field, so he's trying to do it. But it's going to grab on him eventually. If you feel that tightness and you feel it being sore there, it's ready to go. And one check swing or one day that's too cold and you don't get it loose enough, it's going to grab on him, and it's going to end up being a 2-month thing. Like, if he's feeling that way, shut it down for 2 weeks. Just do it in April. Get it done in April. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but in my experience, you let that thing linger, it's going to cause you problems down the road. Big problems.
Yeah, it's basically how I feel about it. And then just gonna lie anyway, so whatever.
Yeah, you called it in spring training. You said he's hurt.
Mm-hmm. It's obvious.
Yeah.
Because they sat him for 3 days.
That's the thing is, when you do that, you can still play. Like, you can do it.
Yeah, he's playing incredible. He's hitting.
It's one check swing away.
Yeah.
I think he pulled the homer. His last at bat, he pulled a homer, like big swing, 2-hand finish, and I think that tweaked it. And then he's been sitting he sat after that.
If he hasn't grimaced and like gone down on camera, then he hasn't pulled it yet. can't help but react when you pull something like that.
It's true.
But it's got to be close.
Big man, nervous. How about a little more fun? How about those Red Sox? They won't quit on you, Trev. They're back, baby. A little sweep, a little got a little love from a Rosarena, the best ever to get that sweep in the middle there. But man, Nasty Nate Eovaldi looking really good for him. Pitching coaches for the past 10 years are punching dirt. It might be finally coming together for Nasty Nate. And man, hey, we knew that team was going to hit. I mean, it's a storyline for so many teams early on this season, whether we're talking Reds or Phillies or Sox. If they can pitch enough, and man, if they can get the Condor, Chris Sale back, Sox Nation, they want to get excited. They really want to get excited. Cora's back.
I like what you're doing.
Cora's
I like
back.
what you're doing. You're pumping the gas. Now you get it a little bit.
Well, they'll have life.
Look,
They'll have life now because Core's back. I mean, Renicky was Walking Dead last year. Renicky and like no one was getting up for a game with Renicky. Renicky wasn't even excited to play games last year. And Core's got that oomph. He'll shit talk you after you leave the team. He'll shit talk you while you're on the team. Like, and I don't say that as a negative. Like, I think it's him, and it has a very positive effect on his clubhouse. I think like
authentic.
He's a dude that's gonna get the best out of his club. We'll see what the best out of the Red Sox looks like with the roster and the pitching by the end of the year. But so far, it's been decent. I mean, well, they got swept, then they swept. That's good.
I mean, the question all year long for Tampa is going to be that offense. We know what they can do defensively. We know they can pitch a little bit, but the offense is always been a question mark. They try to platoon guys, try to put them in the right positions to be successful, but you know, I don't want to take away from Eovaldi or Pavetta. I know they've worked hard and they're good pitchers, but I think the Rays are going to have to find an identity offensively and figure something out because that's going to be their Achilles heel all year.
When you talk about identity, I mean, Fairbanks and Anderson. I mean, those are two of the dudes. Those are two of the biggest dudes you game plan around if you're facing them. So losing them for a little bit, they're going to feel that. So interested to see how they react. We're going to be able to watch a lot of them this weekend because Rays and Yanks are playing. So interested to get that vibe. Dick Mountain today, Archer tomorrow, TBD the next day. So interested to see how the Rays bounce back after the Red Sox sweep. And you alluded to it in the AL recap. But man, Angels, baby. They're fun. They're entertainment, which sometimes the sport does forget about to a degree. But, man, it's fun to see a team identity come together. And Lucas Giolito talked about it on Chris Rose's rotation. Like, that top of the lineup just ain't fun. And it's all different, man. And I think that's a part of baseball that I think the nerds will never be able to quantify. But you can hear it in a pitcher's voice when you hear Giolito talk about it. Going from David Fletcher,
yeah,
who's just going to mess with you. You're never going to have an easy time against him. Like, he's going to beat you sometimes. Mike Trout, he's beating a lot of dudes. he beats everyone. Ohtani when he's in there. I mean, you know, I've seen some sequence stuff on Shohei Ohtani. Double add in this one talking point? Wow. And then Anthony Rendon, maybe the most underrated player in the game. The compound guys, 3 ads. Compound guys were talking about him as potentially like the second best player in baseball on a given, or no, third. They said it's Trout, Mookie, and then that third slot, you can make debates for a lot of guys, and like Anthony Rendon on the right day can be that guy. And then it's kind of funny, the second half of that lineup, whether it's Upton, can Jared Walsh continue to step up? Is Albert in there just being the old machine at this point? Halos are fun, man.
They are, and they found a little bit of pitching that we didn't know about. They found something. Griffin Canning, right?
Well, he's been around. Cobb had a good start. He looked nasty. Bundy. Ohtani's a game changer. See how long it stays, and hopefully it stays all year.
I just gave the blueprint on sequence. If you want to go hit
Dude,
Ohtani,
Trev, that
go
was
ahead
such a
and
good
scout him
sequence.
for it.
Like, you need to, if you kept doing that, so what Trev did was, like, you talked about Ohtani, but the middle thing, and you're like, well, this is how, if I was facing him that day, how I would read his stat lines, and then decide what my approach is going to be. You need to. I would watch that if you did that for a lot of pitchers. Like once every 2 weeks, you just took like, yeah, this. If I was in the clubhouse and we were facing Scherzer, or even a rookie pitcher, and these are the numbers that the stat department gave to me, because you basically said you eliminated 2 pitches, and then you were looking for. Go watch it. It's good.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, I would.
I recorded some fire yesterday too. Some of the next ones coming out are going to be good. I was excited about it.
That.
Yeah. The last thing I want to say is the Astros pitching's been good thus far. It hasn't needed to carry them at all because they're averaging like 9 runs a day. But they got a young guys, Javier, Kitty, Luis Garcia, and they've done just enough. And they've also leaned on Ryan Stanek, who they picked up in free agency out of the bullpen. I think he's pitched in 4 games so far and been really good. And he's did like 2 innings one game, and he's helping that bullpen out a lot. So Astros looking like a scary team. I was surprised there.
Any Trevor Cruz tweet, leave a picture of Ron Darling.
It is pretty funny when that happens.
Ron Darling was all over the Mets thing. He was pissed. He's the Mets announcer and was pissed at Conforto. We won't talk about it too much.
We can reading Trevor Cruz stuff. He's got a lot of good takes.
Love
that guy.
We can talk about
the New
Conforto
York
stuff at one point.
New York was perfect for that. Like, I forget who was tweeting about it, but they were like, a lot of announcers would have done the song and dance. But I think either New York booth, Caster hated that.
New York.
Darling, that was perfect.
Darling pitchers, Cone or Darling.
It was perfect.
Darling or Hernandez, who was it? Whoever was doing the SNY booth, they were more mad about it than the Marlins booth. Because I recorded both for the breakdown, so I listened to both. The Marlins were much more like, yeah, I think, that definitely looks intentional to me. Where the Mets booth was like, oh, that's intentional. No, that's no good. You can't do that. That situation is so interesting to me because Culpa admitted he was wrong, Trev, when you said he's the one-up that never admits it. But this is... He couldn't not admit he was wrong because he once he starts to call the pitch a strike, per rule, a strike in the zone overrides a hit by pitch. So it's not even really a judge. It is a judgment call, but like we already saw your judgment. The fact that none of the 4 umpires, when they got together, no one was like, well, Ron, you had it as a strike in the zone, so that means it cannot be a hit by pitch. The fact that none of the 4 said that is a problem for MLB. Like, come on.
Look, Culpa, you did the famous breakdown when you said, I can do whatever I want. That is the gist of his attitude out there. And, look, do I know him personally? No. But do I know him as an umpire? Yes. Yeah. He's the guy that if you say, Ron, that pitcher's outside. No, it's not. Oh, Ron, I'm going to go look at it. Okay. You go look at it. It's way outside. And you go back and say, Ron, that pitcher's outside. Like, no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
And so he's one of those guys.
Dale Scott told us a nice story about Ron Culpa when he was coming out to the rest of the umpires. So that always humanized Culpa in my head. That's
true. I did forget about that.
On the field, he may be that way, but I mean,
personally, I don't know everybody, but
Ron Culpa's like a pitcher on the mound. Like when Ron Culpa's on the field, that's umpire Ron Culpa.
Yeah, it's probably maybe like
off the field. He's a guy.
Second base on Ron Culpa's party animal.
Oh, slut.
Oh, I get that. He's like the guy. If he's on your team, you love him. If he's off your team, you hate him. I guess that's what Ron is.
It sucks that Conforto has to go in his post game and lie. Because you wish you could be like, trying to just do what I can in that moment, having a tough stretch, and if ball's close enough, might as well give it a shot. But you can't say that because then you get fined, and then it's a problem. So in his post game, he's like,
get fined?
I don't know. Baseball's dumb. I don't know if you get fined. I don't know if you fine, but you basically just admit to intentionally. I don't know. But in his post game, Conforto was like, definitely would have rather used the bat to win the game, but as a slider, I tried to get my elbow in, but maybe on its way in, it went up a little bit. It was fine, but you want to be like, yeah. I threw my elbow into it.
It was the complete circle where I forget if it was Buster or who had it best, but they said. Yes, Conforto did that, but that's instinctual in a way. You shouldn't be mad at Conforto for doing that. You see that ball coming in.
I don't think it's instinctual to put your elbow into a pitch.
When it's moved.
He didn't get out of the way. He leaned into it.
He did a little twist.
And then after the twist, he leans in even more.
Yeah, it was like
twist.
a little.
He hits it. You see his eyes go from there to there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I understand why guys use protective equipment, you know, especially if you're a switch hitter and that's your throwing arm, whatever. And maybe you got hit there the day before, so you put something on. But I'm totally against the guys that just put all the gear on and then crowd the plate. I think that is, I don't want to say it's Bush League, but like, come on, man.
Do you think he'll get hit, Trev? Do you think the Marlins will be like, well, here's a real hit by
No.
pitch? I don't either.
No. I don't know. I saw some people saying that as well.
Everyone was,
on
yeah.
my Twitter mentions. It's like, why? Like, he didn't. Yeah, no, he shouldn't get hit.
Miguel Rojas, the most nicest guy in MLB. I did in the breakdown. I read his lips, and he's like, "We got to replay that." And Culpa says, "You can't review it." And you can see Rojas go, "Why not?" And then Culpa,
True.
Culpa must say like, "I don't make that decision," because right away Rojas goes, "Okay, sorry," and walks away. But yeah, if replay exists, replay everything. And it's not even a replay thing. It's like Culpa just literally forgot a rule in the rule book.
Add a common sense clause.
Strike overrules hit by pitch. He just completely forgot that rule.
Add a common sense clause.
Yeah.
Wild.
Well, we got an interleague series recap coming up. Jake's in charge of interleague. Let us know what happened, Jake. Here we go.
Using the whole damn song. Trevor Plouffe Dodgers at Trevor Plouffe's A's. Dodgers take 2 out of 3. Game 1. Dustin May. Trevor Plouffe's Dustin May versus Trevor Plouffe's Frankie Montas. Dodgers win Game 1 10-3. Game 2 Kershaw show. He's doing it again. That's all he knows. They win 5-1. And then the A's finally get in the win column. Let's go. Rooted in Oakland. Hey! They win 4-3. Dustin May, 6 shutty. Kershaw, 7. Trevor Bauer, how's your balls? Getting inspected, just like mine at the vaccine today. Bad news, Trevor Rosenthal out 12 weeks, man. That's a big bummer for the A's and him. Get better, come back, and be good again, because his comeback story was pretty cool. So Dodgers take 2 out of 3 from the A's. A's get back in the win column.
Good for the A's.
The most aesthetically pleasing matchup in the big leagues right now is A's Dodgers. Love the uniform matchup right there.
Okay.
Green and yellow versus that Dodger blue. It just works. Just works.
You got Oakland up there, huh? In the uni game?
I do. I like
Kelly
that
Green are nice.
They're just unique to them. Like, you know, as soon as you see like those colors, that's Oakland, and you can't say that for a lot of teams. A lot of teams share like the blue and the red, whatever. And is there another team with green?
Like
No. The Red Sox
No,
on St.
right?
Patty's Day.
the Rays? Do they have a hint of green in there still sometimes?
No, I think
Off
Off
really?
subject.
Yeah.
My boy Anthony Swarzak, Sweezy,
Swizzle.
Swizzle Stick, Swizz Khalifa got called up to the Diamondbacks, and he put a picture of his jersey. And let me tell you something, those Diamondbacks jerseys are
Uh-oh.
You like him now?
Uh-oh.
they got away from some of the bad stuff. This one had like this beautiful blue. His name was in this like teal blue. Looked really good with like the red and the black. It worked. So shout out Arizona Diamondbacks PR department, who they love us.
Love us. Mariners have green.
Mariners, yeah.
Mariners do have green.
Is that like odd?
Ish. Aqua.
Dustin May's having a good start to the season, so I'm happy for him. 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 0 earned runs. Used the 4-seam fastball more than he ever has in the past. So he was a guy that you looked at and you're like, you need to change the pitch mix because you have all the stuff. And so far, he used the 4-seam fastball. It was like his 3rd fastball he used last year. And there was a number 1 he used again in this game against the A's. So I like that. The big story is that they took some balls that Trevor Bauer was using out of play for inspection. They used Bauer's name in the headline. This is, I was explaining it, my thoughts on it to the office here. Everyone is happy right now with what's happening, and everyone is acting upset about what's happening, but really they all got what they want. Bauer comes out against pine tar and sticky substances heavily, says, if you're not going to legalize it, I'll just use it. If you're not going to punish guys, I'll just use it. Uses sticky substance, wins the Cy Young when using it, gets $100 million when using it. Now, by doing that, made baseball look dumb because he's like, oh, okay,
Really dumb.
well, if you're not going to enforce it, I will just use it and gain all the benefits. Now he's doing that. Now they put in this play that they're going to inspect all these baseballs, and they're inspecting a lot of baseballs. They've taken tons out of play, but the only ones that they put a tweet out and write a headline about is Bauer's, because that's how the media wins. So Bauer's winning because he's got paid by this. The media's winning because they just put Bauer on the headline, even though it's happening across the league. That's what they want, Trev. That's going to be their #1 clicked article of the month, and you know that that's a win for them. Bauer wins because he gets to act like, why are you just using my name? I hate when you love it, dude. Then you make a vlog and people go look at it. So everyone is enjoying this. MLB wins because there's intrigue and casual people are like, what's this? Scandal always gets eyes. So everyone's winning in this situation and likes what's happening, but they're all acting like they very much don't like it. And that's just kind of the state of Pine Tar and baseball right now.
I don't mind that take at all. I mean, I think that's a really good take. I think in general, Bauer has won this whole thing for sure. Came out, like you said, was against it, decided to use it in his walk year, gets the freaking Cy Young and the bag. And I mean, just think about like whether he's going to do a documentary or write a book or whatever. I mean, this guy is going to, when he's done playing, he's going to expose everybody in this whole situation, and people are going to be very interested in it because it is a big deal. And I can't wrap my head around why people don't understand how big of a deal it is and how big of a performance enhancer this shit is. But the people just don't care. The general public does not care. Even with all this going on, the Bauer and the article coming out, the casual fan cares not about the story, and it's kind of crazy to me that they don't care. I think maybe they don't understand the difference. Like the casual fan might not understand that 300 RPM jump.
I'm just excited to see what comes from another MLB investigation, man. Get to the bottom of this, get the story out there finally, because it's about damn time we've done this. No, man, it's everything you guys said is right. I think the only part that sucks is, again, I think for baseball fans, because I think every baseball fan, and hey, it's a nice conversation to have, and you and Chris Rose were doing it on the Instagram Live, but like, how is there not rules around this? Like, that's insane. It's insane that the people in the game don't care enough that there should be rules around this. We're literally messing with the ball.
Someone, one manager, was it Roberts? Was it Bob Melvin? Might have been Bob Melvin.
Mel.
A manager got asked about this, and he said, oh, no, they're just collecting information on the kind of substances guys are using so they can make one legal substance in the future, which like isn't public. What manager said that? Might have been like that was his interpretation of why they're sending balls to the lab, which actually makes more sense to me than MLB. No, we're not gonna, punish anyone. We're just gonna make it more legalized and easy, which is like a fine thing. But some tweet manager said that, and I was like, I wonder if like that's the memo that got sent to clubhouses, and like, don't worry, because Luba tweeted out and she deleted it like, oh yeah, but we all know they're not gonna do anything, and I wonder if that's the inside the baseball walls secret. Yeah, no, we're not punishing guys because I mean everyone's still being very obvious about it. Garrett Cole's being very obvious. Ohtani is being very everyone's being very obvious about it still. So I wonder if inside the walls they're like, yeah, we are sending him to labs. No one's gonna get punished. We're just trying to figure out the best substance that we can legally like give to teams now that does this, but not that. I don't know.
Ohtani had the 300 RPM jump his first start. I'm just saying.
Check everyone's balls.
So I've been in the thick of it. I tweeted that out yesterday about like I think it's ridiculous that they're trying to make him the face of it. And then now I got people, all my mentions, sending me like little clips of videos because Bauer's blogged everything or vlogged everything. So he's got content out there. The one thing that he really has messed up on is he was calling people out, and then he was calling into question their character, like the morality, saying he'll never use it because it's morally wrong. And then he just used it. So you can't. You can't do that.
Also, very like
And there's videos
Very-
all over the place of it.
very semantical because like there's like tweets where like, so you're not you didn't use pine tar, and he says no, and it's like, well, I bet if someone asked, so you didn't use a sticky substance, that he would not respond to that one. But he tweeted out the ingredients. Like Bauer tweeted out the ingredients: pine tar, rosin, Coca-Cola, boiled down. When he was mad.
That's the Bubba mix.
Yeah, that's the
Bubba.
Bubba.
That's good.
But that, so like when he was rallying against it, he was like, well, this is the mixture that increased 300 RPMs to my pitches. But so I know that it helps, blah, blah, blah.